On today's episode of Anime Afterthought, My Hero Academia episode 85, School Festival Start. Holy shit, today's episode was fucking amazing. It had the perfect balance between context and action, and I absolutely love that they went into further detail regarding Brava and Gentle. And in doing so, it was able to pull off one of those unique situations where you actually feel empathy and even some sympathy for this arc's villain. Now, last we left off, we began the fight between Gentle and Deku. Gentle criminal pulling out the elasticity quirk, which basically gives him the ability to rubberize almost anything, even the air itself, creating a makeshift trampoline or even a shield. Meanwhile, Deku is now sporting his new support items that allow him to pull off some amazing finger flicks, as we see in showcased in his new move, Delaware Smash Air Force. We get a pretty awesome back and forth, but it's obvious that Deku has the upper hand. But remember, when we're dealing with the villain, you're usually not going to get a fair fight. And we see this when Gentle takes the opportunity to use a bystander as a makeshift decoy. Rubberizing an I-beam to the point where it snaps off its support, sends it careening towards the innocent onlooker. And of course, we all know Deku, the hero, is going to rush into the civilian's rescue, and this brief moment gives Gentle and Brava the time to escape. But this does not deter Deku. No, although the I-beam is taking a majority of his strength just to hold up, he is able to one-arm it and get off a finger flick, sending the villainous duo careening off course. And this is where we pick up today's episode. Let's not forget how fucking smart Deku actually is. Way before he had the brawn, he definitely had the brains, and he puts that to good use. Taking in Gentle's proclamation of his own quirk, quoting that he does not have the ability to cancel it at will, he's basically able to reuse Gentle's escape path, utilizing the rubberized crane to send him skyrocketing and the trampolines to bounce off of. But going even deeper than that, he is memorizing where these actually are being placed in real time, as Gentle and Brava are taking up a defensive position, creating more of these elastic air shields. Deku not only used them to get by the now shocked pair, but once Gentle uses his ability to block Deku's line of sight, Deku is able to triangulate a shot using pre-existing trampoline shields, sending another jolt of air using his newfound move to land a devastating hit on Gentle. And I have to say, at this point in the little arc we see after he gets his gloves, they're coming in super fucking clutch, like ridiculous. Like the MVP of this arc are those fucking gloves. Like Hatsume, like you are a fucking genius. Like those gloves are just, honestly, without him, what can he do at this point? And he would have been lost fucking holding that goddamn I-beam. Now at this point, it seems that Deku has the pair in custody. This leads us to a flashback, and this is where we get a pretty sad scene involving Brava, aka Monami, due to a failed attempt at a love letter, coming off more stalkerish than anything. She fell into seclusion and only basically had her computer as her companion. She said she could no longer believe in anything anymore, and even contemplated suicide at one point until she came upon Gentle's video. In the upcoming scene, we actually get to see her fucking power. Now, at first, I assume because she said she's this amazing fucking hacker, her power must be electronically based or some kind of hacking quirk. Well, I mean, you would assume that, right? Well, you're fucking wrong, and so was I. Her power is actually love. Now, when she says she loves someone, like I love you, when she admits to her, her confession of love, we'll call it, she grants that person power, anywhere from double to up to 10 times or more. It's depending on how much she actually loves that person, and it's obviously directed at, who she loves the most. Like, holy shit. And then it gives me a flashback into the first time we see Gentle and Brava taking out the convenience store, where not only was it elastically like bouncing, which was obviously Gentle's power, but there was also a pink mist, which, I just didn't put two and two together. And it makes sense. She even quotes saying, this is our, get out of jail free card. This is our escape. Like, this is our trump card. We're only supposed to use this when we're, get ready to head the fuck out. But, this is do or die. We're basically in custody, still a grade schooler. They're not even close to getting into UA at this point. Not to mention, they still have Hound Dog and Electoplasm and all his fucking clones to deal with, as we see later on in the episode. I mean, they're not even in fucking Wi-Fi range at this point. So it's do or die. So she, confesses, I love you, Gentle. And he's like, thank you. And then this pink aura exudes from him, and he is able to outpower Deku, who is currently in full cowling. And this is where we get a super good back and forth. Like, his escape from Deku's, hold on him was like an instant. Like, it was almost like instant transmission. He was just like, poof, and he was fucking gone. And he had Brava, cradling her like a little bride. Oh, by the way, at first you think this is creepy, but two things you guys told me. One, Brava, Monami, is actually mid-20s. So, just her body style is very chibi-esque. And two, Gentle's not that old. I mean, they do have him silver hair and like the mustache and goatee, it makes him look like late 40s, early 50s. Like, it makes him look fucking older than he actually is. But if we're to go on another flashback in today's episode, he's what, 30s? So although the age difference is, you know, almost a decade, I mean, we're not dealing with fucking, you know, pedophilia. This isn't a 50-year-old and a fucking 12-year-old. At most, if we're going off numbers they've actually used, what, less than 10 years tops. But yeah, it seems that confession is exactly what he needs. Like I said, he has La Brava in his fucking arms. He gives, you know, Deku the old nighty-night karate chop to the back of the fucking neck. And at this point in the entire fight, he has been somewhat of a gentleman. Yes, he was very villainous when it comes to using the innocent bystander as a decoy, but he even quoted saying, you know what, if you didn't jump to the rescue, I simply would have bounced it away. But even that chop to the back of the neck is not enough to knock Deku out, and he is still up for a fucking fight and getting ready to flick another thing of air. So it's basically now Deku versus Gentle, like gone fucking, like they've both gone Super Saiyan at this point, and all out power. We see them literally like fucking Dragon Ball Z, where you can, all they are just glimpses of lights, flash little streaks across the fucking air. La Brava is seeing this, and she is obviously distressed, emotionally distressed. They've already used their trump card, and this is actually not who Gentle is. He is a very kind person. He does not, he abhors violence. Like, he does not want to be violent. He does not like to use, you know, be on the offensive, but he is, for the sake of this, you know, this grand scheme to, I mean, he has his own dreams. But she takes this opportunity and sees this and just decides to fucking, you know what, go it alone. I can't use my hacking software quite yet. We're not in close to this fucking Wi-Fi. I mean, yeah, you're out in the fucking forest. So she has to get closer. So we see her actually, you know, using Gentle's plan. I mean, they're supposed to rub dirt on them to make sure Hound Dog can't, you know, sniff them out. Yet who does she fucking run into while she's trying to get closer, you know, for that actual signal? Yes, Hound Dog and Electoplasm, who's like 10 fucking clones with them. So she backtracks back to Gentle to see what the fuck's going on. Meanwhile, Gentle and Deku have been fucking going at it. Like, this is a pretty fucking good fight. He's all hopped up on La Brava's love. Deku's going full Calling with All Might's little hair he gave him. Like, this is a pretty good fucking battle. We do get more backstory on who Gentle actually is. He is a failed hero, or a failed aspiring hero. I believe he failed the 4th time to get his provisional hero's license, but it seems he had a very good can-do attitude and wasn't going to give up. Even though we see the first instance of, you know, him actually getting the announcement he failed again, his mother was already like depressed and crying at this point. Like, she is no fucking source of support, obviously. And this is just multiplied by the fact that after this, you know, he actually goes out and tries to save someone. I mean, someone's calling for a fucking hero. According to All Might, that's what heroes do. They meddle in places they're not supposed to. He goes out and tries to save someone. Well, unfortunately, he caused someone's fucking death. Or, I mean, seriously fucking injured, but the dude fell from a fucking, you know, building and then had something fall on him. Like, he looks fucking dead. And at this point, his parents just fucking, like, the mom's like throwing shit at him. I think it was like a telephone, like something else. Like, then he turns into a vagabond. He's a fucking wanderer now. He's 22 and talking about eating ripe fruit or some shit. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but we see him run into a former classmate that was recruited right out of high school, and this is like the straw that broke the camel's back. Not being recognized by a former classmate, you know what, sent him into a fucking spiral himself. Like, if I can't be a hero that leaves my name, my mark on history, I'll be a fucking villain. And he just so happens to have a VHS tape, something called Super Villainy. Like, what the fuck? Like, you figured they would try to suppress all, you know, villain-esque type shit, but yet there's, I don't know, is that a bootleg copy? Like, are we talking about like the 90s anime gore sex fest we used to have back in the old days, where people would just hand off VHS copies to each other? Like, is that what we're dealing with? Like, I have no fucking clue, but this is where we see, like, this is his first step to becoming Gentle criminal. In the fight, we cut back to the fight, and the fight is like at a feverish fucking pace, back and forth, and we see they basically are, you know, mere copies of one another, just taking different paths to achieve their goals. Deku is a hero that is fighting for a young girl's smile. Gentle is a criminal, a villain fighting for a young girl's love. Both wanting to leave their own mark in the history books. Like, this is a pretty, like, they're very fucking relatable characters. Yet neither one wants to give up on their dream, and someone has to. The sword versus the shield, and, well, guess which one gives out first? In this instance, it seemed to be the shield. So La Brava finally makes her way back to Gentle, and Gentle is once again being held down by Deku. And we get this very sad scene where she's, you know, doing that thing all little kids do where they try to fight you, and they're just basically just like shitty ass attempting to try to get you off of them. Like, it was a very like emotionally weird scene because I was giggling, yet I felt bad at the same time. Like, I'm not really sure how to explain it. It seems there is a time limit though to La Brava's power, and it can only be used once a day, which is very limiting to be honest, unless you were guaranteed to have whatever situation over very quickly. I mean, it's basically a one and done type thing. And we see this while Gentle is on the ground, the power starts to fade, yet seeing La Brava in this, hysterical state revamps this power, and he gets one good push off Deku and sends him flying, yet still is using his trampolines. Now, whether he set one up or he aimed Deku for that, he's basically floating him away on fucking his little air trampolines, and he's come to the conclusion where this fight is 100% over. I am done, but there's one thing I still can do, and it seems I'm not 100% sure what he plans on doing, but it involves giving himself up to UA as well as, cradling, getting one good hug at La Brava, and the two are walked off by Hound Dog and Ectoplasm. Yeah, that was a really good fucking episode, and I'm so in love with the balance between context and substance. We had a pretty good fucking fight. We had some very good moments in said fight. Deku using the air shields to triangulate a shot on Gentle, fucking amazing. Gentle using his love power boosted power to not only get out of Deku's grasp, grab La Brava, and also fucking throw off 50 feet and send him flying the other direction. It was just in an instant. You felt the quickness in that animation. I fucking loved it. And then the backstories. I absolutely love that they went further into their backstories. We see that Monami, she had a rough go of it, especially when it comes to love. It's a very unique emotion, and especially when her quirk is actually revolved around that situation. And then to see her, go into that kind of spiral, but also meet Gentle, everything coalesced with, Gentle basically being a fair hero turned villain, kind of saved La Brava. I mean, she said, should I just fucking end it? Yo, that's pretty fucking dark. Oh God, and the dark eyelids thing was fucking cute. Literally Gentle seeing La Brava downtrodden about her dark eyelids, took a fucking permanent marker and drew on his. It was honestly a fucking sweet moment. I'm gonna be completely honest. I really do like their their relationship, but I know I want to see what's gonna happen to them. Hopefully we get more a little afterwards, see what happens, and then we still have the actual school festival to go over. Beauty pageant, class 1A, class 1B, and I want to hear this fucking Jiro song. The intro for this season is literally Jiro-esque, so they better focus more on her. We only got what, 2 or 3 episodes left? 3 or 4 episodes? I don't know how many fucking episodes we have. We only have a couple episodes. Yep, all in all, absolutely loved it. And with more episodes right around the corner, I cannot wait for future episodes.